This will be my final look at the draft and making any predictions or giving any of my thoughts about how it could work out for the Ravens. We're going to call this my best wild ass guess. All right, and I'll be honest with you, this is not exactly what I think could occur. I would say this probably has a less than 10% chance of occurring, but as I sat down to write this morning what I thought might occur, this kind of morphed into something that my brain came up with. So call this fiction and nonfiction at the same time. All right. So there's going to be two steps to this scenario that I offer you, and if this does come true exactly the way that I predicted, then there'll be some very interesting conversations, and if it does not, who cares? It's all fun. So step one in this is Drake London and Jameson Williams are both off the board by the time pick 13 comes up, and obviously the Ravens don't have 13, the Texans do. That the Texans shock everybody and they select another wide receiver, either Chris Olave or Garrett Wilson, whichever one they think is better. So now the Ravens at 14 have their man in Jermaine Johnson, if they want him. Stingley's taken already. He's off the board. So the Ravens can take Jermaine Johnson, but they've got trade back offers from multiple teams, which I do expect that to happen. Cowboys, Packers, and even the Steelers. And the reason for those three teams is since the Eagles and Saints combined to have 4 of the next 6 picks, I believe, from 15 to 21, the wide receiver tree is becoming bare quickly. London, Williams off the board, either Olave or Wilson off the board as well. Treylon Burks is still out there, the other Ohio State, whichever is remaining receiver is still on the board. And there's a team picking at 22 that starts to worry about whether or not, one of those 3 guys, or, including Jahan Dotson in that, Burks, Olave, Wilson, Dotson, Packers start to worry about whether one of those guys will be available, and they're not necessarily wanting to take George Pickens at 22 unless they have to. So the Packers come through to the Ravens with an offer of 28, 59, and 132. The Cowboys have kind of countered that offer with 24 and 56 in exchange for the Ravens 14 and one of our really later picks in the 4th round. The Packers are then given one last reprieve to counter the Cowboys, and they change it to 28, 59, and 92 in exchange for the Ravens 14, 128, and a 2023 6-rounder. So the Ravens accept it. And we all bitch and moan because we're expecting a Jermaine Johnson announcement at that point. And we've been waiting at this point probably for an hour and a half. And now we've got to wait even longer because we don't get pick 22 from the Packers. They wanted to give us pick 28. The Packers go ahead and get a wide receiver at 14, preempting the Eagles, Saints, and even the Steelers, who had made an offer to get 14 also. Ravens receive pick 28, and now they've developed the following: 28, 45, 59 from the Packers, 76, 92 also from the Packers, and 100. 6 of the top 100 picks, which sounds great. It even sounds great as I'm recording this. But we would all be pissed at this point because we want our team to draft someone, especially at 14. We haven't drafted at 14 or anywhere near there in a long time. So we come away from pick 14 obviously quite disappointed and then have to sit and wait even longer. By the way, Jermaine Johnson, who we wanted to see go into, a lot of us wanted to see go into the purple and black, ends up going to New Orleans at 19, which was really surprising. So we get through to the Cowboys at 24. And after watching Burks and one of Olave or Wilson and even Jahan Dotson go off the board at this point, the Cowboys are faced with a decision. They wanted a receiver. We didn't trade with him. No one else would. So do they go George Pickens at 24? Probably the most talented wide receiver remaining, unless you think Christian Watson is. Or do they go O-line? So the Cowboys at 24 choose to go O-line, and they take the versatile left guard, left tackle combo, Kenyon Green. Immediately thereafter, a trade is announced, and we all hold our breath. And the words, "the Baltimore Ravens have traded," enter our ears, and we're all getting pissed already. Like, another trade back? And they finish with, "have traded picks 45, 92, and a 2023 3rd-rounder to the Detroit Lions in exchange for pick 32 in the 1st round and pick 177 this year." And we're all speechless. They've done it again. Somehow, DaCosta and the front office have snuck back into the 1st round to double up with 2 late picks in what a lot of us consider as a deep draft. The trade was nearly amended to be for pick 34, but the Ravens were willing to go ahead and part with 45, and 92. And from a Lions perspective, since there's a ton of edge players remaining at this point, which is, real surprise, along with guys like Nakobe Dean, the Lions think they can get someone talented at 34, like an Ojabo or Arnold Ebiketie. The Lions also benefit in this situation because now they've stacked picks for this year at 66, 92, and 97 in the third round, just the third round, along with 34 and 45 in the second round this year, and they added a third rounder from the Ravens in 2023. So they feel like they benefited. Proceeding through from pick 24, the Bills take a running back, Titans grab Tyler Lindenbaum, the center, and then the Bucks go ahead and select Houston D-tackle, DN combo, Logan Hall. So at pick 28, finally, almost 90 minutes after most of us were prepared to hear, the Baltimore Ravens select. We finally get our guy, and this is the player that in some ways I have thought the Ravens wanted all along, Michigan defensive back Daxton Hill. Mike McDonald's do-it-all safety corner. And still, even after getting a guy of that caliber, we get to wait for pick 32, the second year in a row that the Ravens have been able to double up at the end of the first round. I think it's quite possible that the Ravens have wanted Daxton Hill all along, and they may be just trying to entertain as many trade-back scenarios as possible to give them opportunities to select him, depending on where they think he may fall in the mid to late 20s. The Chiefs get their 2 picks in a row, the second of which is George Pickens at 30, so that removes him from our list of choices in terms of who might be there at 32. And then the Bengals grab Kyler Gordon to support their secondary because Andrew Booth had already gone to New England at 21. Finally, the last pick in the first round at pick 32, the Ravens get Arnold Ebiketie, outside linebacker edge from Penn State. So for 2 years in a row, DaCosta and the front office have been able to double up in the first round, late in the first round, and in doing so, they've taken 4 consecutive players from the Big Ten. In doing so, they've successfully grabbed 2 talented players at positions of need, and somehow they've just lost marginal value. And what I mean by marginal value is instead of having picks 45, 76, and 110 in the second and third round, we've just moved down slightly to 59, 76, and 100 after briefly holding 92 before trading it to Detroit. And a 4-hour whirlwind draft ends like a sequel to the 2021 one, as the Ravens take another edge player from Penn State, and we as fans are left content, but also wondering what the hell is going to happen in rounds 2 and 3. Ravens are set to have 3 picks now in rounds 2 and 3, still have to address offensive line, maybe inside linebacker, and there's a lot of us who are clamoring for guys like Josh Pascal as another edge rusher to provide depth and be able to play on the inside some. Let me know what you think of this very unlikely scenario in the comment section. But would you be satisfied with Daxton Hill and Arnold Ebiketie after day 1 of the draft, while somehow maintaining most of our picks to gorge on really good players in rounds 2, 3, and 4? Hope you guys enjoyed the draft. I appreciate all the support during my first year of covering it in depth, or attempting to cover it in depth. Feel free to let me know ways that I can improve the content. Clearly this scenario is a little far-fetched, but I was trying to figure out ways that the Ravens could double up near the end of the first round without trying to just go 14 for Detroit's 32 and 34, because I think it's unlikely that Detroit is going to give up both of them. Of course, the Lions' plans could change depending on who they are able to get at pick number 2, and then how the draft progresses in terms of how many edge players, offensive linemen, and skill players come off the board early mid-20s. As they watch that unfold, the Lions might be more willing to trade with someone like the Ravens. I think there's many avenues and pathways for the Ravens to improve this roster tonight before we even venture into rounds 2, 3, and 4, where the Ravens have the bulk of their picks to go. Let me know how you guys see this unfolding in the comment section.